how should we worship God? By simply accepting what's been passed down to us through generations or through families or what's popular in our community? Is that what we want to do? Would that be using our power of reason? No, it wouldn't. In fact, history has shown us that true discoveries are made when a person decides not to simply accept the current belief of his day, but rather digs for the truth himself, digs for the truth. For example, astronomer Nicholas Copernicus used his power of reason to prove that the earth revolves around the sun and not the other way around. He came to that correct conclusion when it went against popular belief back then. Well, so too, we need to use our power of reason to really think about how we serve God. But what if in the process we discover that some of the things we believe are not rooted in truth, but are merely mirages?
Am I the only one who's just fuming at the irony here? So this is Mark Noumair, governing body helper. He is giving the talk, Do You Worship What You Know? And he's making the argument that too many people have strongly held beliefs based purely on their culture or their family, their close relatives, how they grew up, what their background is. And their background informs their beliefs. Too many people are indoctrinated, you could say, by their parents to believe something, irrespective of whether it's actually true or not. I mean, how is he not seeing the irony? And you could be watching this thinking, well, that completely goes against what we've heard, even in this convention and in multiple examples from JW Broadcasting and other videos where they are all about parents indoctrinating their children and making sure children are raised to believe the Jehovah's Witness religion from as early as possible, irrespective of whether they understand it or not, irrespective of whether they understand 1914 and 607 and all of that stuff. They just need to have the beliefs, and then the reasoning will follow later on. That's how Jehovah's Witnesses are raised. And here you're getting Mark Noumair making the exact opposite argument, that that's not how it should work, that you should reach your beliefs based on the facts, just like Copernicus did with heliocentricity. I mean, how dare he, quite frankly, start citing science and the scientific method. This is a religion that refutes science where it disagrees with their preconceived ideas. This is a religion that says that evolution is a false teaching. And yet they have the gall to start name-dropping scientists and praising the scientific method. And if by this point you're completely flummoxed as to how he could just so overtly speak out of both sides of his mouth, or deliver such ironic, dare I say, hypocritical rhetoric regarding religion, it's all because he's giving the public discourse at the convention. So this is the talk that's intended not for a Jehovah's Witness audience, but for those invited to the convention by Jehovah's Witnesses who aren't believers yet. That's why he's talking the way he's talking. He is speaking to a completely different audience who weren't raised as Jehovah's Witnesses, in hopes that by completely misrepresenting the way Jehovah's Witnesses indoctrinate their children, by completely ignoring all of that, and presenting Jehovah's Witnesses as fastidious when it comes to pursuing truth and facts, regardless of what previous generations believed, he's hoping that he can trick people in the audience who've never been raised as Jehovah's Witnesses to thinking, here is a reasonable, facts-based, logic-based religious belief system.
Why do you believe what you believe? In many cases, it may be a matter of what your parents taught you, or simply of where or when you were born. So if you had grown up in another place, or a different time, you may have developed a very different set of beliefs. But does the truth about God really depend on when or where we live? Does it seem logical that multiple conflicting beliefs about God could all be true? Is it possible that the truth is something different from what you were taught? Just because someone claims to represent God does not mean that his claim is true.
Just because somebody claims to represent God does not mean his claim is true. Is that not exactly what we can say about the governing body? They claim to be God's channel with mankind, God's approved channel for dispensing spiritual food at the proper time. That is their claim. And yet apparently that claim should not be challenged. Their claim to being used by God as his essentially messengers, that claim should be just left untouched. But we should scrutinize the claims made by other religions. So again, it's really infuriating that the makers of this video are repeating what we've just seen in Mark Noumair's talk. Mark Noumair introduces this video, by the way. They're repeating the same trick of making it sound like Jehovah's Witnesses are all about facts and logic and drilling down and getting to the truth, irrespective of how people were raised, while ignoring the fact that Jehovah's Witnesses are very blatant when it comes to the need to indoctrinate children as young as possible. So that if you are raised in a Jehovah's Witness family, it's not like they say, oh, well, this is what we believe, but when you're 18, you'll get to decide for yourself. You know, when you're older, you just explore all the different options and use the scientific method, use critical thinking skills to make your own decision as to what you believe. They don't give children that luxury. So how dare they point the finger at all the other religions? And they do make one very interesting observation, that all religions cannot all be true.
Does it seem logical that multiple conflicting beliefs about God could all be true?
Well, I agree with them there. Self-evidently, not all religions can be true. But where they're going with this, of course, is that there is just one religion that's true. And miraculously, Jehovah's Witnesses are the ones that have found it. Isn't it more likely that rather than all religions being true, that perhaps all religions aren't true? All religions are man-made constructs designed to control people.
The God of the Bible once told one of his worshippers, "The prophets are prophesying lies in my name. I have not sent them." For centuries, people misrepresented what the Bible says about God and used religious teachings in an effort to control people and to make money. With good reason, then, the Bible says, "Prove to yourselves the good and acceptable and perfect will of God." If you are searching for the truth about God, why not examine what the Bible says for yourself? Doing so does not mean abandoning your culture. Millions of people from all over the world and from different backgrounds and cultures have discovered that the Bible contains the truth about God. They have found a sense of purpose in worshiping God in a way that they know pleases Him. To learn more about what the Bible says on this and many other topics, go to jw.org.
Well, that video, it helped us to see the need to reason things out, not to be content to just take things at face value. That's the easy way. But using our power of reason, exercising thinking ability is hard work, but it's worth it.
It is worth it. And unfortunately, Mark Noumair, when we do exercise our thinking ability, when we do apply logic and reason to the beliefs of Jehovah's Witnesses, they completely fall apart. They are nonsensical. It's just completely illogical, the theology of Jehovah's Witnesses. So they've produced this video with the title, Why Do You Believe What You Believe? Mark Noumair is presenting it as part of his public discourse in hopes of persuading members of the audience who aren't yet Jehovah's Witnesses that they should join. He's trying to suggest that Jehovah's Witnesses are all about logic and reason. All other religions, it seems, were created as an effort to control people and get money out of people. But Jehovah's Witnesses are different. They are the one and only exception. And you'll find out all about that if you study with them. The video, by the way, I mean, I guess make of it what you will. We will all have our own opinion on whether it presents Jehovah's Witnesses in a persuasive or compelling way. For me, the video has very, very strong culty undertones. It's like red flags everywhere. Say you're a cult without saying you're a cult.